In my writing community, people often ask me, should I write fiction or write non-fiction? Well, so in this video, I'm going to share what I think or what's my own personal experience on this very important subject. I'm going to start by saying there are no one-size-fits-all answer to this question. Usually the answer depends on you who is asking the question. What really is important to you when it comes to writing? What are you looking to achieve? So let's quickly make a distinction between fiction and non-fiction. Fiction is creative writing, and when I say creative writing, I mean writing that is from your imagination. The characters are imaginary and all of that. Non-fiction basically deals with facts. You need to do research. There are true life stories, figures. Basically, non-fiction deals with facts, research, and data primarily. So going to the question, should you write fiction or non-fiction? Usually, different writers have different strengths, all right? So whether to write fiction or non-fiction can primarily be a decision you make based on your strengths. Do you like to write stories, create characters, and all of that? You may be more suited to doing fiction compared to somebody who likes to read, to research, and then to put out facts and figures. But again, I often tell people writing is such a skill that if you're very used to writing fiction, if you want to venture into non-fiction, you can learn. If you're also a non-fiction writer, well, I feel like it's quite difficult, yeah? It's more difficult to go from non-fiction to fiction. It's easier to go from fiction to non-fiction, because even in non-fiction, the element of storytelling and all that, you can bring it from fiction writing into your non-fiction writing, such that you're writing facts and figures, but you're writing in such a way that you're telling stories around it, so that it can be more interesting and more relatable to the audience, and it can be also entertaining and very easy to digest and to consume. All right, so your individual preference and your giftings can be a very important factor in deciding which of them you go for. But I started as a fiction writer, but currently I am all non-fiction. I'm going to give you a quick background story. When I was very much younger, I used to write novels, in my previous relationships, I probably wrote a poem for the people I was with almost every day, because that was me. I was writing novels, writing books, writing movie scripts. I was purely a fiction writer. One of the issues I had was that I struggled to monetize my writing. I reached out to movie producers, tried to sell my scripts to them. I looked for alternative ways to monetize my, fiction writing. It just did not click. So I abandoned writing for a point and then, went to do something else with my life. It was later in my life that I got to, begin to learn I could do non-fiction, all right? And then I began to see the opportunities in non-fiction. And that was the exodus of my journey from fiction writing to non-fiction. So aside from your natural makeup and what you like, or the abilities that you have, the other thing that can help you decide whether to do fiction or non-fiction is what exactly is important to you. Do you want to write just to share your ideas and to put your voice in the world, to impact lives and to build influence? Is that what writing is about for you, or is it also about writing to make money? All right, so for somebody like me, I believe it is possible to write for impact, to write for influence, and to write for income. You can have it all. I believe that you can have it all. So basically, it was one of the things that informed me switching from fiction to non-fiction. Why? Because there are a lot of opportunities to monetize as a non-fiction writer compared to being a fiction writer. So as a non-fiction writer today, I have platforms where I write for impact and influence, and of course I work for clients, companies, and individuals that I write marketing materials for. So I also make money from writing. I believe that you can write for impact, influence, and income, and if that's your desire, check the description section. I have a free guide for you on how to actually be somebody who writes and impacts lives as influence, and of course makes money from it. But basically, what you desire to make out of your writing. So I know a lot of writers who want to get to a point where they probably make income from writing, resign from their job, and then become a full-time writer like myself. I've been a full-time writer for 5 years now, and so I know too well that you can actually write and make a decent income that can give you a decent life from writing. All right, and the opportunities are enormous if you are a non-fiction writer compared to if you're a fiction writer. For example, if you're a non-fiction writer, you can be a ghostwriter, write for companies and individuals, and then they take the credit. You can be a copywriter, you can go into academic writing. There are just a lot of opportunities that you can explore as a non-fiction writer compared to fictional writing. So in this video, I'm putting forward two things that can be very instrumental in helping you decide whether you want to be a fiction writer or a non-fiction writer. The first one is, what is your interest? Yeah, what do you find natural to you? Do you like facts, figures, research, and studying and all that? You may be suited to doing non-fiction. But if you like stories, you like to create scenes and imaginary characters, you may be more suited to doing fiction. But again, like I said earlier, writing is such a skill that you can decide to develop whatever aspect of your writing that you want to get better at. So if you want to switch from either of them, yeah, you can decide that you want to switch, and then you can begin to learn the rudiments of these two aspects of writing. You can pivot to whichever of them. And like I said, Beyond what's your natural abilities, what exactly you want to make out of writing can be very instrumental in helping you decide whether you want to do fiction or non-fiction. I want to write for impact, impact lives with my writing, build a personal brand on the internet, which is influence, on the internet, and of course, make money from writing. So, which is why I decided to switch from fiction to non-fiction. If that's something that also interests you, then you may want to consider non-fiction writing. All right. And like I said earlier, if you check the description section, I have a free guide that walks you through how exactly you can take your writing skill and then use it to build impact, influence, and income. Check the description section. And what's your take on this subject? Leave me a comment. If you have any question, leave me a comment also. I will attend to your questions. So, should you write fiction or non-fiction? The decision is yours to make, and I hope you make the best decision for yourself. All right. I'll see you in my next video. In the meantime, stay legendary.